One sentence. That's all it took to spark a digital firestorm that might haunt Dillon Gabriel for the rest of his career. Standing in front of national cameras, smirking, confident, maybe even a little too cocky, Dillon dropped what he thought was a harmless comment. There are entertainers and there are competitors. I'm here to compete. That sounds innocent on paper, until you realize who was listening. Because in just 5 words, Gabriel managed to poke the most unpoken bear in football. Not just any player, but Shedeur Sanders. The man who isn't just competing, he's commanding headlines, flooding stadiums and dripping charisma like it's part of the playbook. Shedeur didn't even respond. He didn't have to. The internet did it for him. And what started as a subtle jab turned into a wrecking ball aimed at Dillon's entire reputation. Within minutes, Shedeur fans mobilized into meme machines and digital detectives, freeze-framing every blink, breaking down every syllable. Dillon wanted to prove he's built for the spotlight. He got one, but not the kind that ends with endorsement deals and highlight reels. This wasn't just trash talk. This was career sabotage, broadcast in 4K. And Shedeur, he just kept stacking wins, rocking that quiet grin, while Dillon struggled to outrun the fallout of 5 reckless words. So what really happened that day? Why did one sentence nearly erase a rising quarterback's momentum? And what makes Shedeur Sanders so untouchable that silence hits harder than any clapback? Let's break it down, because this isn't just sports anymore. This is reputation warfare. It wasn't a private conversation, not a leaked text, not even a team meeting off camera. Dillon Gabriel made his move on live television. National audience, HD cameras, stadium noise echoing in the background. With a casual smirk and zero hesitation, he dropped this. There are entertainers and there are competitors. I'm here to compete. That was the spark. At first, it sounded like standard athlete talk. But to anyone who's been following college football, especially Shedeur Sanders' orbit, it felt personal. Because Shedeur isn't just a quarterback. He's an icon, a brand, a walking headline machine. And the moment those words hit the airwaves, Shedeur Nation heard it for what it was, a shot. There was no backing out. No, wait, I meant the media. The damage was done. In seconds, social media turned into a war zone. The reply tweets came faster than his next throw, and Shedeur fans handled the rest. Dillon wanted to take the spotlight. He did. But stepping on Shedeur's name? That was his first and biggest mistake. If there's one rule in college football social media, it's simple. Don't mess with Shedeur Sanders. Because you're not just dealing with him, you're dealing with millions. Shedeur Nation isn't a fan base, it's a movement. And the second Dillon Gabriel's quote hit the airwaves, it activated like a football-themed Avengers team. Within minutes, Shedeur's fans turned into digital detectives, pulling clips, freeze-framing reactions, digging into stats, facial expressions, even background music. They weren't analyzing, they were annihilating. Dillon didn't just get roasted, he got researched. Tweets turned into threads, threads turned into timelines. And Shedeur fans weren't just replying, they were producing. Meme edits, TikToks, voiceovers, joke compilations. They broke down Dillon's words like it was a conspiracy theory. And Shedeur? Silent, cool, unbothered. Watching it all unfold like royalty above the chaos. That silence only made things worse for Dillon, because it meant the fans were fighting his battle and winning. Gabriel wasn't just getting cooked for what he said. He was getting cooked for who he said it about. Shedeur Sanders doesn't argue. He doesn't rant. He doesn't even tweet back. Because he doesn't have to. That's the Shedeur effect. Silence that hits harder than any insult. It's the kind of power most players dream of, then only a few ever reach. When Shedeur steps on the field, he doesn't just play. He shifts energy. Stadiums sell out, ratings spike, headlines follow him. And his opponents? They feel every bit of that pressure before the whistle even blows. That's why Dillon's comment wasn't just risky, it was reckless. He didn't throw shade at a player, he challenged a walking brand. And Shedeur's response? Nothing. Not a word, not a clapback. Just a calm grin, some highlight plays, and business as usual. Meanwhile, Dillon's face is becoming a regular feature in meme dumps and TikTok edits. Shedeur gains more fans. Dillon racks up regret, because when you come at Shedeur Sanders, you don't get a quote war. You get ignored, and that silence becomes the loudest L of all. Dillon Gabriel should have been celebrating. He'd just been drafted to the NFL. A dream moment. Cameras flashing, interviews lined up, spotlight in full force. But instead of headlines reading, "Future franchise QB," they read, "Did he just take a shot at Shedeur?" Suddenly, the hype turned into heat. Coaches were dodging questions. PR teams went into panic mode. And what should have been day one of his pro journey instantly became damage control. Because NFL franchises don't just look at talent, they look at temperament, composure, judgment. And right now, Dillon wasn't trending for touchdowns. He was trending for trash talk gone wrong. The locker room rumors started almost immediately. Was it jealousy? Was he nervous about Shedeur getting drafted too? Did he just throw a live grenade into his own team chemistry? Meanwhile, Shedeur didn't have to say a thing. His stock kept rising, and Dillon's reputation kept falling. All because of one sentence, on the wrong day, said to the wrong crowd. He didn't just fumble the moment. He handed Shedeur the ball, and Shedeur ran with it. Shedeur Sanders isn't just a quarterback. He's a full-blown business empire in cleats. When he plays, networks shift their coverage. When he posts, brands pay attention. Not chasing clout, clout chases him. He's got NFL-level talent, influencer-level reach, and Hollywood-level charisma. So when Dillon Gabriel casually tossed shade, he didn't target a rival. He aimed straight at a multimedia marketing machine. Shedeur has positioned himself like a hybrid of athlete and icon. Nike's interested. Cameras follow him off the field, and from his pregame outfits to his postgame silence, everything is a headline. That's what makes beefing with him a guaranteed L. Because Shedeur's fans create content for him. His silence makes noise, and his name carries weight far beyond the scoreboard. The game ends, but the narrative doesn't, and Dillon accidentally made himself a character in Shedeur's story. You don't trash talk someone whose highlights air in commercials. You don't try and humble a guy who's already sitting at the top. And Dillon, he learned that the hard way. You don't challenge the brand unless you're ready to become part of it. The apology tour started fast because it had to. Suddenly, Dillon Gabriel wasn't just a quarterback. He was a PR problem. His team scrambled. Social media managers wrote drafts. Prep agents whispered talking points. And somewhere between the memes and the media storm, Dillon had to pivot from confident QB to cleanup crew. It starts the same way every time. A carefully worded Instagram note, a misunderstood comment in a post-practice interview, a teammate saying he didn't mean it like that. But the internet doesn't forgive easily. Shedeur Nation especially. Every attempt to walk it back only reminded people what was said. Clips kept resurfacing. The quote kept trending. And Dillon's legacy, at least for now, wasn't about his arm. It was about his mouth. Shedeur, still quiet, still winning, still letting the world spin around him while Dillon, because once the internet decides you're the punchline, there's no script strong enough to cancel the joke. And Dillon's now learning the first rule of modern football fame. You can't outplay a viral mistake. You can't rattle Shedeur Sanders, because you can't touch someone who's already playing the game from above it. While Dillon Gabriel scrambles to patch his public image, Shedeur hasn't said a single word. No interviews, no tweets, no reactions. Just that signature calm stare, a sharp fit, and another clean performance on the field. That's his real power. He doesn't chase moments, moments chase him. Everything Shedeur does feels cinematic. Whether he's walking into the stadium or just sipping water on the sideline, cameras follow. Commentators talk, fans scream, brands lean in. And while others play catch-up, Shedeur is curating his legacy in real time. He's not just trending, he's transforming into a full-blown era of football. And that's what Dillon didn't understand. Taking a jab at Shedeur isn't just risky, it puts your name at the bottom of someone else's story. Shedeur won this clash by doing nothing at all. And that's what makes him different. Everyone else talks to be heard. Shedeur's silence echoes louder than all of them combined. Dillon Gabriel didn't throw a punch. He threw a sentence. And somehow, that one line, meant to boost his own image, torched it instead. What should have been a routine soundbite turned into a viral case study of exactly what not to say. Instead of igniting a rivalry, he accidentally stepped into a wildfire. And Shedeur Sanders didn't even strike the match. Shedeur never had to respond. His fans, his brand, and his presence did that for him. Now every touchdown Dillon scores, someone in the back row will shout, "Aren't you the guy Shedeur humbled?" Every press conference will carry the baggage of a 5-word decision. And years from now, when people mention his name, that clip will still follow. Because this wasn't just a bad moment, it became his most memorable one. Football is unforgiving. So is the internet. But disrespecting Shedeur Sanders? That's just asking to trend for all the wrong reasons. And Dillon Gabriel didn't just trend, he went down in history.